Good afternoon everyone, this is Kushagra Goyal and we are going to talk about the November 7 newspaper analysis, but more importantly the Ethiopian crisis, right? So as talked about in the morning session, we are going to carry forward the discussion about those topics here. Good morning Asmita, good morning, hello to you. So I'll be diving in. This is something that we'll be following every week. We'll be keeping Sunday as an off. To take a break, to have the information for the next week of classes, all of that. So I need one extra day to like prepare all of you. Good afternoon Anushka. So every week we'll be doing the Sunday newspaper analysis in the afternoon on the following Monday. Okay, and we'll be picking up one of the most important topic from the week and talk about it for like a good 20-25 minutes, which will be like a short understanding of that topic. Okay, good morning Trasik, good morning. So let's dive in. Before I do that, a brief introduction about myself. So I'm Kushagra Goyal, a graduate from National Law University Orissa, Masters in Economics, assisted student to achieve AIR 4, AIR 16, CLAT 21 among 100 of other rankers, and I did a YouTube series that got 90% of the questions in the GK section. Okay, and I humbly extend the invitation to all of you to join me on the Telegram channel. The Telegram channel is where students can tell us about what they want me to talk about in the following week, a topic they have not understood. It's also a way to reach out to me for your doubts related to CLAT preparation or any law entrance exams, right? How to fill up the form, every other detail. So you can find me on the Telegram app at Kushagra Goyal, the legal game _Unacad, or you can directly go to the link in the description box. So you can do it through two methods. One, you can search me directly or go to the link in the description box, which is far more easier now that you're already watching me on YouTube. Moving on. So today at 5 p.m. I'm hosting a special class on the Nobel Prizes. Special classes are free of cost on the Unacademy website or on the Learners app. So if you're using a mobile device, you can download the app. If you're using a browser like a laptop or a computer, you can go to the unacademy.com, log into it and find special classes. These are free classes. You can find me there, Kushagra Goyal, in your target exams. So for CLAT, okay, that is the category you can search me under, and special classes. Now, over the month of October, I talked about a lot of current affairs events. This month also, we'll be doing a lot of them on special classes. So it's a humble request to all of you to join me there. Okay, live classes are totally free. You will be able to access the lecture notes instantly, unlike YouTube where there is a lag in terms of that. You can enroll, you will get notification of when the class is beginning. You can participate in polls and also ask your doubts. Okay, now additional features of the Unacademy Learner app is a raise to hand and talk to the educator live. So right now I'm talking, but you all can only type in the comment section. But when you are on the Learners app and a subscribed plus user, you can also talk to me audio visually. Okay, to do that, all you have to do is subscribe. Now subscription plans are available based on the time period you want to invest. Okay, even if you don't want to use that, you can just log in and use my referral code KUSHGK, which will, if you're doing a paid subscription, it will be a 10% discount. If you're just logging in to watch the special classes, it will direct you to the content that is required for you. Okay, so KUSHGK is the code that you can use. Okay, so now before we dive into the Ethiopian crisis, we'll do the newspaper analysis first. Okay, for the particular day's newspaper. Now, hospital fires or building security is one of the most important things and has been in news of late. Okay, so headlines like these has been part and parcel of our overall COVID story, right? ICU beds, fires in ICUs. So all of this has been happening. In relation to that, Maharashtra is now going to do an audit and appoint safety officer in each medical hospital. Medical facilities, just like we have police, which is to oversee this, now we will have a safety officer in hospitals, primarily in Maharashtra. So that's the suggestion that has come up. Okay, so this is the kind of news that has been there. The big headline though for us is the COVID cases. India is now reporting the lowest COVID cases than the peak of almost 4 lakh cases that we reported during the deadly second wave. Okay, we will not get questions about how many COVID active cases has been reported in the past 1 month, all of that will not happen. But see, even last year we had reached this low and we reached a new high. So this shows that, see, the susceptibility of the virus is still there. You all cannot keep your guard down. Ensure that everyone in your family who is eligible gets the COVID vaccine. It's a must. Okay, I'm fully vaccinated now, and therefore I also humbly request all of you who have family members who are not yet vaccinated to ask them that to get them vaccinated. Assist the elderlies to do their appointments, walk in, take them to the vaccination centers. Okay, what is an audit? An audit is, let's say, audit is a transparency instruction database, in the sense that in an audit you just verify everything. Okay, what, for example, I claim that 10% of the students of the particular class are actually going to clear the exam. So now you audit that when the results come out. Did 10% of the students of this class actually clear the exam or not? Okay, so that's the audit part. In audit, what all will be done? Anything that was claimed, for example, were all the building guidelines followed? Did the fire safety standards allowed? So for example, in this particular ICU hospital in Ahmednagar, there were no fire sprinklers, there were no fire alarms, there was no emergency exit. Okay, so all these things are part and parcel of building guidelines. So if they were not followed, so all of that will come out in an audit. Okay, then we move on. October witnessed highest power shortage in the country in over 5 years. So coal crisis, so many special classes I had to cancel, YouTube sessions also I had to cancel because of power outage. Okay, this is, so in over 5 years this was the highest power crunch, right? Because coal stocks in the country have been really low. Coal has been or has become really expensive, so people are buying it less in anticipation that if they buy at a higher price they will suffer losses. So all of that. Okay, so this is the primary case that is being talked about here in the highlights, not of importance for us. 3 dengue deaths go unreported. This is related to dengue spread in the capital region and across the country in general. On the left hand side is Tripura slaps UAPA cases against lawyers. Tripura witnessed a lot of communal violence recently, okay, after communal violence had erupted in Bangladesh. In response to that, a lot of communal violence had happened. People who asked for an inquiry have now been slapped with UAPA. This has been the normal scenario very recently, okay, that UAPA cases are filed against those who call for accountability of the police forces, right? So in that regard, this is the key aspect. Now investigation, how it will proceed, that needs to be seen. Okay, but अभी तक इसके अंदर कोई headline नहीं है for importance of us. Audit is a confirmation report, partly yes, partly no. Okay, also I want to ask the viewers who have been watching me for over a regular time period, do you notice any change in terms of the setup? Is the voice clarity better? Is the lighting better? All of that, like video quality, because we have updated the setup after Diwali, so let me know that also in the chat box, right? If you notice any changes, if you think anything has improved. Okay, thank you so much, Trasik. Panel blames sudden low winds for noxious Delhi air. None of this is importance for us. Okay, third rake of Vande Bharat Express in March. So this is the new type of self propulsion trains that Indian Integral Coach Factory of Chennai had put out. Okay, this is operations of these trains were announced by the Prime Minister at the 75th Independence Day this year. Okay, So इसके अंदर भी there is not much of note for us. All right, Sunday newspapers are low on terms of content for current affairs and more like a revision for us. Okay, so we move on to more and more political news. Then is China strengthening connectivity in Chumbi Valley? Okay, what sector is this news related to? So in October I did a special class on Indo-China border dispute. This is in relation to it. Okay, very recently US Pentagon, okay, US Congress on Military and Security Developments released a report. Okay, I've gone through this report. 192 pages की है ये report. ठीक है, this report talks about what China is doing, how it plans to subvert USA to become the largest military in 40 years. Okay, that's their target. To be the strongest military on the earth is their target. Only recently we have set up joint coordinating center under the army that has proved to be effective coordinate. Okay, Siliguri sector, this is all in the eastern sector. Okay, ईस्टर्न सेक्टर के अंदर कौन सा बॉर्डर है इंडो चाइना का? What is the name of the border or the line on the eastern sector? Anyone? We have talked about it. For those who have watched my special classes should tell me. Eastern sector. Name of the border on the eastern sector. Anyone? No one. Eastern sector, what is the line known as? For example, India Afghanistan's line is known as Durand line. The line on Ladakh is known as Ardegh Johnson line. What is the line on the eastern sector? I have covered it in multiple special classes in October. Anyone of you? Okay, I will only answer McMahon line. Alright, McMahon line is on the eastern sector. Okay, this article is talking about something known as the chicken's neck. Okay, what is the chicken's neck? Which area of India is known as the chicken's neck? So eastern sector की Indo-China border line is known as McMahon line. What is the chicken's neck in India? What area is known as the chicken's neck? Anyone? ऐसे कैसे होगा? Okay, good guess, Trasik. Northeast side में, yes. Not Assam actually. Siliguri corridor is definitely, but no. There is a particular another state, पूरा का पूरा state. दार्जिलिंग कौन से state में fall करता है? Darjeeling falls in what state? Northern part of West Bengal. If you have to go to northeast, you have to cross West Bengal. Okay, the area, oh, all right, on the north of Bangladesh and the south, okay, which connects northeast states and the mainland India, okay, or the northern states of India, is a narrow corridor that is known as the chicken's neck. Okay, India के map के अंदर, you know, there is this पतला सा line that is there, ठीक है, जिससे हम नॉर्थ ईस्ट स्टेट्स में जाते हैं. दैट एरिया इज नोन एज द चिकन्स नेक. ओके, एक पतला सा 22 किलोमीटर वाइड स्ट्रेच है, ऑलराइट, दैट इज नोन एज द चिकन्स नेक. ओके, इट फॉल्स इन वेस्ट बंगाल. ऑलराइट, वेस्ट बंगाल में है चिकन्स नेक. एक पतला सा कॉरिडोर, द वन दैट ओपन्स टू द नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स, दिस इज नोन एज द चिकन्स नेक. ऑलराइट, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ये सब जो नाम है, देखो, इंडिया चाइना बॉर्डर डिस्प्यूट के अंदर वी नो कि इट इज समथिंग इन न्यूज, बट उसमें क्वेश्चन क्या बनेगा उससे रिलेटेड, वी डोंट हैव टू, दे हैव ऑलरेडी आस्क्ड पेट्रोल पॉइंट से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस, राइट. उन्होंने उससे पहले बॉर्डर बाउंड्री से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया है, बट टॉपिक अभी भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो अब उस टॉपिक से नया क्या पूछ सकते हैं, तो अब हमें वो जानने की जरूरत है. समझ रहे हो? दैट इज वाई दीज न्यू थिंग्स और द ओल्ड वंस विच आर नॉट सो मच इन न्यूज. अब ईस्टर्न सेक्टर न्यूज में, तवांग न्यूज में, बट वो कौन से बॉर्डर पे फॉल करता है, वो सवाल बार बार पूछा जा सकता है. इट्स अ वेरी ऑब्वियस थिंग, इट इज नॉट डायरेक्टली इन आई साइट, बट दैट थिंग इज देयर, राइट. जैसे कि हमारे स्किन के ऊपर बैक्टीरिया, we know that there is bacteria but we can't see it, doesn't mean that it is not there anymore, right. These are the kind of things that are still there. Okay, इस तरीके के सवाल, right. This is the eye that we have to keep, right. The Siliguri corridor stretching land between Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal at the narrowest is 20 to 22 kilometers. That chicken's neck, all right, or the Siliguri corridor, it is that area which I told you, 20 to 22 kilometers ka. Okay, then we move on. So Supreme Court gave a judgment, government can't be adversary when citizens' rights are under threat. Okay, court will intervene if denial of information rejects affects the right. Okay, see, एक state, this is a judgment about the responsibility of the state. ठीक है, कि गवर्नमेंट की क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हमारी तरफ और हमारे लिए. दैट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इज रिलेटेड टू improving our fundamental rights. One of the fundamental right of us is the information that we gather. Okay, uphold the constitution and the laws without fear or favor. In doing so, they cannot allow political ideology. This is part of the judgment that we talked about. ये Pegasus judgment से related है. Okay, ये चीज मैंने तुम्हें पहले ही बताई थी, जुडिशियल ओलिगार्की, जुडिशियल ऑटोक्रेसी. ऑलराइट, पेगासस जजमेंट का जो वीडियो हमने यूट्यूब पे डिस्कस किया है, दैट मैराथन क्लास दैट आई डिड रिलेटेड टू द पेगासस जजमेंट, ये उसका हिस्सा है. ठीक है, अब हमने वो टॉपिक पहले ही कर लिया है, इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि आपको अगर याद नहीं है तो आप उसे रिवाइज नहीं करेंगे. ठीक है, दिस इज ऑल अंडर द पेगासस जजमेंट, राइट. ये आप स्किप नहीं कर सकते, किसी हालत में स्किप नहीं कर सकते. ओके, सो दिस इज रिलेटेड टू द पेगासस जजमेंट. ऑलराइट, राजपथ रिवैम्प इज ऑन ट्रैक. दिस इज सेंट्रल विस्टा, 26 जनवरी को होना है. तो अगर ये कंस्ट्रक्शन की सिचुएशन ऑन ट्रैक नहीं होगी तो राजपथ पे रैली कैसे होगी? ऑलराइट, हाउ विल द परेड हैपन? सो देन दिस इज अ मेजर हाई. Okay, Arunachal, to showcase heroic village near China border, is planning to make a documentary about its most patriotic destinations, Kaho. Okay, this was part of to mark the 75th year of independence. Kaho is the first village from China's border. We plan to make a documentary on Kaho and its people. Okay, this is part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the name or the celebration of 75 years of our independence. So you have to note down the name of the village, Kaho. Okay, why is it important? Again, eastern sector, ईस्टर्न सेक्टर का पहला विलेज. first village on eastern sector named is Kaho. I think red is more visible. Right? Who is going to make a documentary? Arunachal Pradesh. Alright? तो ये पर्पस है हमारा. Fair enough? So sometimes small news is what you have to note down. Okay? This is also part of the Indo-China border dispute से related current headlines. Okay? यही नई चीजें हैं, थोड़ा करके they ask you all this. Okay? Srinagar will be declared a major airport. This will obviously increase the flight tickets there. Alright. A center designates an airport. Now, why has Srinagar suddenly become a major airport? Because international flights directly to UAE are flying from Srinagar. Okay. This was about Supreme Court's order on mental health issues. Okay, individual personality differences manifest. ये सब part of an order related to how mental health is important. Okay. See, this is in general something of note, but इसके अंदर specific question नहीं आएगा. Okay, so that is why I'm not taking it up in depth. Alright. Then Ajit Doval holds strategic dialogue with France, commit to closer Indo-Pacific. Then House passes infrastructure bill. This is Joe Biden's one of the major part of his campaign promises. Okay, as president he had promised that he will do. Much less has been agreed right now. Okay. Can you imagine which is one of the biggest problem of America's infrastructure? Can you guess? If you look at America and you think America is having an infrastructure problem, okay, so and it says 1 trillion rupees US dollar will be spent. Can you guess on what are they going to spend 1 trillion on? Majority of it. Anyone make a guess? The majority expenditure of 1 trillion is going to be spent on, can you guess? No, not courts, not broadband, anything else? No parliamentary buildings or anything also. Sewage and water supply. Most of the water supply in America is actually very old. Okay. Most of the water supply of America is actually very old, right? So that is why yes, Asin, this is yesterday's newspaper, but we are going to talk about the Ethiopian crisis. Alright, so we're just covering this and then going to expand on that. Alright. So on the science page, nothing of note, right? And then where does India stand? This is FAQ. On the left hand side is reservation within reservation. Okay. इससे related we had discussed on Saturday. We had discussed past week when the judgment had come out. Okay. If you want to give reservation within a category, okay. Let's say कि people who are watching, let's say there are 100 people watching, right? 50 seats or 50% is reserved. Now, if I want to make a further reservation, okay, 50 के within, I claim कि 50 का or 30% out of 50% is for women. ठीक है, if I want to make this claim, this has to be backed by two things. Okay, hard evidence and judicial proof. Okay, all right, as per the Madras High Court judgment, this has to be done, can only be done by two things. First, evidence. Okay, and second, recommendation. All right, these two things need to happen simultaneously, that there is evidence of need of this reservation. Okay, evidence of the need to give this reservation, and a recommendation by a judicial body or a legislative committee or a parliamentary committee to do so. Why? Because reservation within reservation is a violation of Article 14 of the reserved class. बात समझे? Reservation within reservation is a violation of Article 14 of the reserved class. I will put it here. Okay, keep reservation within reservations is a violation of Article 14 of the reserved class. तो इसके अंदर अब हमें क्या समझने की बात है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से रिलेटेड क्या है ये, आर्टिकल 14 एंड 16, ठीक है, इन दोनों के अंदर. सो रिजर्वेशन विद इन रिजर्वेशन is a violation of Article 14 of the reserved class. So if you want to move beyond it, ठीक है, अगर आपको रिजर्व क्लासेस के विद इन रिजर्वेशन प्रोवाइड करना है, then you have to have specific evidence to support it. ठीक है, आपके पास specific evidence होना चाहिए उस चीज का. ठीक है, and second, there has to be a need or a recommendation. All right, so this is what this judgment of Madras High Court was all about, because there was a lack of evidence. ठीक है, and there was no recommendation for the same. That is why this reservation within reservation for the Vaniyar community was held wrongful. Okay, ऐसा नहीं है कि रिजर्वेशन के विद इन रिजर्वेशन नहीं मिला है किसी को. Okay, Tamil Nadu has the highest percentage of reservation already, but to do that further, okay, you have to have evidence of need and recommendation. ठीक है, तो ये दोनों प्रिंसिपल्स हैं लीगल रीजनिंग के. ओके, फॉर द जजमेंट ऑफ मद्रास हाई कोर्ट. ओके, अंडरस्टूड एवरीवन? इसके अंदर कोई डाउट हो तो प्लीज टेल मी. Okay, now we move on to the main heading. Here is of methane emission. So India did not agree to the methane recommendation or the methane pledge. Okay, methane is one of the potent greenhouse gases. India has decided not to join it. So this FAQ illustrates what is India's stand related to methane emissions. Okay, or the methane pledge as we call it. Okay, US and European Union are at the forefront of the methane pledge. ठीक है, अब इसके अंदर there is nothing more to note for us. Okay, pledge to cut methane emission by 30%. That is their target, that of 2020 के levels का they will cut 30%. Methane, as I had already told you, is a source from our food chains, right? Communities that consume a lot of beef and pork are the ones that also give out a lot of methane emissions. Alright, India has not done it. So why hasn't India signed up? So the justification given in the article, okay, is no official reason, but reports Indian officials are unhappy with the wording that suggests meeting obligations under the pledge could mean restriction in international trade. This is unacceptable, they say, as trade falls under WTO. So this is technical part, but see, India ke updated NDCs are more important for us than the specific pledges. Then this is a meeting of national security advisors who are going to meet on Afghanistan related issue. Until now, Russia, all these countries, okay, written here, China, Iran, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. Among this, China and Pakistan have not confirmed attendance. We will be talking about it. It will not affect trade for India traffic. It's a technical part, okay, that how can you control trade when trade is controlled by WTO. So that's a technical point. We don't have to worry about it too much, okay. The Glasgow Declaration, which is the methane pledge, okay, is also an extension of the New York Declaration. हमने पिछले वीक 4 तारीख और 3 तारीख को इसके बारे में बात करी थी न्यूज़पेपर एनालिसिस में. तब I had given you the specific facts related to it. I am not going to repeat all of them here. अब इसके अंदर हमारे लिए ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है, इसलिए मैंने इसको यहाँ पे इन डेप्थ डिस्कस नहीं किया. ठीक है, अब ये NAC की मीट इस हफ्ते होगी, तो जब होगी तब वी विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट इट. अब पाकिस्तान ने आने से मना क्यों किया है? ऑब्वियस रीजंस है. दे डोंट वांट टू बी पार्ट ऑफ एनीथिंग वेयर there is larger interest of India involved. They don't want to cooperate. How has RBI tweaked prompt corrective action norms for bank? What will commercial banks under scrutiny need to do to get out of restrictions? This is part of banking infrastructure, not relevant for us. इससे related question नहीं आता है. हमारे लिए जो सबसे important news थी इस दिन के न्यूज़पेपर की is rise, fall and return of the Tigrayan rebels. TPLF. Okay, so let's go to the TPLF crisis. Okay, so अब क्या हो रहा है? All right, the Ethiopia crisis. What is happening? 2 countries are involved in it. First is Ethiopia. ठीक है, मैप पे आप देख सकते हैं, उनकी कैपिटल इज एडिस अबाबा. Then there is a country on the north, Eritrea. Okay, Ethiopia is located on the Horn of Africa, right? This is the Horn of Africa. Ethiopia is located right here. There is a port of Chinese in Djibouti. So China has a lot of interest in what is happening in this area. Okay. हॉर्न ऑफ अफ्रीका. ठीक है, ईस्टर्न साइड के टेरिटरी पे, यस, लाइक अ राइनो. ओके, अब देयर आर 2-3 फैक्ट्स दैट नीड टू बी नोटेड डाउन. फर्स्ट इज 2019 में द करंट प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ इथियोपिया, ओके, एबी अहमद, won the Nobel Peace Prize. ठीक है, why did he win the Nobel Peace Prize? Because he brought the war between Ethiopia and Eritrea to an end. Okay, he got a peace treaty. So this border that had been a war front for years, okay, finally went silent. बट एक प्रॉब्लम थी, ओके, एक प्रॉब्लम ये थी कि जब तक 2018 तक, ओके, द वन हु वर इन पावर वर स्वोर्न एनिमीज ऑफ एरिट्रिया. They were sworn enemies. They were the Tigray people or people of Tigray ethnicity. Okay? So, even if Abiy Ahmed had brought peace between Ethiopia and Eritrea, there was no peace between Tigray and Eritrea themselves. Okay? Even if there was peace between Eritrea and Ethiopia, there was no peace between Tigray and Eritrea. The ones in power in the country till 2018, okay, they were sidelined and they belong to the Tigray ethnicity. Okay, and whenever you sideline someone who has been in power for a very long time, okay, it creates a sort of resentment. ठीक है, अब मान लीजिए कि I have been in power in India. Let's say I have been captain of the Indian team for past 30 years. ठीक है, अब suddenly you say कि Kushagra, walk out, your time is over. Something that I have done for a very long time, I may be resentful of you removing me, and then the worst that you can do is actually change everything that I had done over the past 30 years. If I had stood for A and you stand for Z, it will create resentment. So for years, Tigray people had fought with Eritrea. The moment you came to power, you brought peace here and you wanted me to change my way of life. So this is the story in short. Okay, now the roots of the conflict. The roots of the conflict go way back to the 1991 civil war. Okay, in 1991 civil war, Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front, EPRDF, a coalition of 4 parties but dominated by TPLF, through the Derg or the Derg, a military junta. Military had been controlling Ethiopia, okay, and TPLF fought off the military and won the civil war against them. Okay, they had been ruling country from 1974 to 1991. So after 1991, TPLF, okay, the Amhara Democratic Party, the Oromo Democratic Party and the Southern Ethiopian Democratic Party, 4 people were now ruling as part of the Ethiopian People Revolutionary Democratic Front from 1991 to 2018. EPRDF had been in power, okay, which was majority dominated by TPLF. अभी तक की बात is still here. Then what happens is, Derg was the name to the military rulers, okay, just like the rule of Adolf Hitler is known as the Third Reich or the Third Reich. Similarly, the military rule in Ethiopia was known as the Derg, right? Myanmar mein it's known as the junta. In Ethiopia it is known as the Derg. Okay, now part of the Ethiopian crisis is their ethnicities. This is very important part of the discussion. TPLF belongs to people of the Tigrayan ethnicity, okay, but they are not the largest. They are a minority in the country. The majority is the Oromos, who are 35%, and the Amharas, who are 27%. Okay, now go back. In the previous coalition government, there are the Amhara Democratic Party and the Oromo Democratic Party. But who is the head? The head of this coalition is TPLF, which is not a majority. They are not a majority. So it was like a minority community ruling the majority class. Alright, this created a lot of resentment. Okay, so they ruled for 27 years with remorseless repression and long record of human rights abuses. Okay, along with imprisonment of opposition leaders and journalists. This has been reported by BBC. Okay, up the moment to 2018 elections happen, okay, a new person comes to power who is known as Abiy Ahmed. He is from the Oromo community. He is majority. What does he do? He creates a new party known as the Prosperity Party. The moment he comes to power, he releases all these opposition leaders and journalists. Everyone who had suffered at the hands of TPLF is released, okay? And everyone who has been disenfranchised, okay? Trasik, I'll explain that. Don't worry, focus on the larger story abhi. Alright? So everyone who had been in opposition and was in jail is now released, okay? So TPLF is thrown out of power. Everyone, all the parties of the EPRDF, the Oromos, the Amharas, every party except TPLF joins Abiy Ahmed as the Prosperity Party. It is like, imagine like this scenario. For till 2014, the Congress had been in power for majority of our times. Suddenly, the BJP, a new party comes to blocks. Everyone ditches the Congress and forms alliance with the BJP. So suddenly, the tables are turned, right? So this is an example of what happened. EPRDF, headed by the TPLF, had been in power since the civil war ended. Suddenly a new person is in power, Abiy Ahmed. He creates a new party, Prosperity Party, merges all the allies of the former power and marginalizes the main party. This is what is happened in Ethiopia in 2020. 2018 में Abiy Ahmed comes to power. 2019 he forms this new party, kicks out TPLF. Okay, while the pandemic is going on, then what does he do? Okay, he starts a concentrated attack on the Tigray region. Okay, he launches a concentrated attack on this region. He asks the TPLF that, see, you guys give up arms. We are now a democracy. If you want to be part of the government, you form a democratic front. TPLF now knows that they are marginalized. The moment they will give up arms, they will have nothing left of themselves. Kyunki the government is now of those people whom TPLF had attacked or jailed for years and years. 27 saal tak they had kept them in jail. So TPLF knew this. Now this is an article that was published in the Hindu on November 17, 2020. 2020 May this conflict started. Last year when I was doing the newspaper series on a different channel, tab I had talked about this last year, okay, on 17th November newspaper analysis. Okay, this is the rise of, so TPLF, they were founded in 1975 as a resistance army of Tigrayan people. What happened was, the moment the early civil war ended, TPLF retained their militia. Matlab, while they were in power in a democratic country, they also kept their own militia group. Okay, they were not part of the Ethiopian army. So when Abiy Ahmed became the prime minister, he's like, there cannot be militia groups in the country. Either you are part of Ethiopia as a peaceful country or you're not part of it. काफी ऑब्वियस सी बात है, लॉजिकल बात है कि अगर आप एक लोकतांत्रिक देश का हिस्सा है और आप इलेक्शंस हार चुके हैं तो उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, आप पर एक मिलिट्री पैरामिलिट्री ग्रुप नहीं बना सकते अलग से. यू कैन नॉट पिक अप आर्म्स or have a separate army in a democratic state. All right, that is called insurgency. अगर आप ऐसा करते हैं तो आप insurgency create कर रहे हैं. So Abiy Ahmed last year he launched an attack on the Tigray region, November 17. Okay, what happened? Quickly the Ethiopian forces were able to capture the Tigray region. But TPLF, what did they do? They went in the northern mountains of Ethiopia, hid there for a while, took their time, consolidated, and now are striking back. So the article in the Hindu is the rise, fall, and return of Tigrayan rebels. This is now talking about how they are striking back. Okay? They are taking much more larger territory than was the original TPLF territory. Okay, so the larger story is now this. Okay, that TPLF, which is this is their group, they are now striking back. Now when they are striking back, everyone who is opposed to Abiy Ahmed wants to combine with them, because Abiy Ahmed has taken away power from all militia groups. Everyone who is not supporting Ethiopian army is now an ally of TPLF. So now TPLF and the Ethiopian military are at a crux of a civil war. Okay, so for a last 1 year the country has been in a constant conflict. Uski wajah se there has been high risk of famines in the country. And this is the scenario now what is happening. अब हमें क्या क्या याद रखना है इस आर्टिकल के अंदर. ओके, so one name that you need to remember is Meles Zenawi. He was the charismatic leader who became Ethiopian president in 1991 and the prime minister in 1994. Okay, he was the TPLF leader who had headed the population. Okay, his name, then Abiy Ahmed's name. Okay, apart from this, so this paragraph is important. Abiy was initially welcomed as a reformer. He lifted state of emergency, granted amnesty to thousands of political prisoners, lifted curbs on media, legalized, banned political outfits, and dismissed military and civilian leaders. Okay, so this anyone who is a reformer who wants to bring in democracy is always then looked down upon by those who want to keep power in their own hand. Okay, uske baad se what has happened is the backlash against Abiy Ahmed. Okay, but most of Abiy's reform measures had a domestic political angle. The political prisoners he released had been detained by TPLF. Most of the leaders arrested or sacked were TPLF old hands. Alright, Abiy's decision to resolve EPRDF, the TPLF led coalition, and launch his own party. Okay, all of this led to Debretsion Gebremichael and the TPLF becoming a minority. This is the domestic angle. He wanted to consolidate power. So while he was a democratic person who got power, he now wanted to do the same thing that TPLF had done to people. Make them politically marginalized. Okay, anyone who comes to power wants to consolidate power. Okay, so for example, now Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the most important leader of his political party. Slowly and slowly he removed those people who were opposed to him, जैसे कि लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी और मुरली मनोहर जोशी. They are now not the mainstream. He and his confidant, for example Amit Shah ji, they are the most important people in the political party. So this happens generally. Any person who gets into power wants to consolidate and have his own set of people who he or she trusts. So this is what happened in Ethiopia also. Now that this is happening, right? People who had been marginalized are coming back. Okay, how have they come back? They have come back by taking over the regional capital of Mekele. Mekele is the capital of the Tigray region. They have taken back the capital of the Tigrayan province, and now they are pushing southwards. Okay, so the country is at a civil war with the full blown possibility of a famine. Okay, because of this civil war situation, no trade is happening, no one is focused on improving the condition of the country, everyone is focused on to win the civil war. Okay, so there is, people are going hungry, there is high refugee crisis pouring into Sudan, South Sudan, Somalia. People who fear that their lives are in danger are now fleeing. So this is the larger conflict that is happening related to Ethiopia. Now we need to wait what happens. Do they come to have talks? More or less African countries have less chances of any actual peace talks taking place. This happened in Sudan also. After civil war, the country broke into two parts. This is what may happen in Ethiopia also. Tigray might become a new region, whatever they keep. But the other part of Tigray becoming independent region is Eritrea will be on a constant war with Tigray because they are sworn enemies of each other. So this is the larger conflict that is happening there. अब किसी को कोई doubt है तो बताओ. One of the doubt is the name, or what is known as Dirk. Dirk is just the name of military rule from 1974 to 91, ठीक है, of Ethiopia. That is all that it is. Okay, this is Dirk. Alright, uske baad then there are two other things on the newspaper. So breaking the silence, Peng Shui, she's a tennis star of China. Okay, she has alleged that she was sexually molested and apparently with an intention to rape her by a former Chinese official. Okay, so this has created a lot of ruckus in the country. People, the Chinese Communist Party never wants to come across as someone who would want to be in the bad eye of the public, but because Cheng Shui, she is a big star in China, it will be difficult, but this is what they do, right? The Communist Party will never accept any form of criticism. Anyone who criticizes them will not be accepted. Okay, then on the right hand side, Princess Mako was stripped of her royal status after marrying a commoner. Princess Mako, she is the princess of the Japanese royal family. The Japanese royal family is still alive, just like the British. They don't have that much power as the British monarchy, right, and not as popular. She is now finally going to marry her long-time boyfriend, that is K. Kumaro. Because she is marrying a commoner and not a royal person, she is being stripped of her titles and will lose all inheritance. So instead of reforming the monarchy in general, she has now been stripped of the monarchical title. Okay, nothing much to note here. Then apart from this, on the economic side also nothing of much note, and World Cup related also. Sporting side also not much news. Why is the article important from CLAT perspective, the Japanese one? It's not important, just the name Princess Mako is important because some exams may give you this kind of question. Okay, इस वजह से पता होना चाहिए. चीज़ें पता होना और एग्जाम के हिसाब से इम्पॉर्टेंट होना में डिफरेंस है, ठीक है? Keep this in mind always. Something may be important, something could be noteworthy but not important from the exam perspective. So that is a distinction that you always have to draw. Okay, on that note, in terms of 7th November, Ethiopian crisis, reservation within reservation, two very important things. Okay, and lastly, related to the Pegasus judgment, please go back and watch the Pegasus judgment video on our YouTube channel. It is still there. It is there on the YouTube channel, current affairs playlist, Pegasus Judgment. You will find it there. Please watch it. Okay, it is one of the most important thing for your legal current affairs. On that note, thank you so much. I will conclude by reminding all of you about the quiz feature on the Learners app. If you are watching the special classes through the Learners app, you can also participate in quiz. You can start your own, okay, or participate in the quiz that is being conducted. There are 3 new batches along with weekly tests. So today is the English weekly test. All right. If you encounter any bugs, report them in the form given below in the description box. And if you're looking for dedicated batches, so 3 new batches: Law Escape 10th November, Legal Issues on 12th, and Rankers Batch 2.0 on 12th November. So if you're looking for these batches, you can look them up on the Unacademy Learners app. On that note, thank you so much. Thank you all of you. 5 p.m. Learners app, we are doing a session on Nobel Prizes. Okay, Monday is always the best way to work more, so we are doing 5 p.m. on the Learners app on Nobel Prizes. Very, very important. See you all there. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.